as I mentioned earlier, KwaZulu-Natal roads took a massive hit last year following heavy flooding, and the natural disaster struck without warning, and the devastation has been massive, as we said. Local authorities have since focused on fixing damaged infrastructure, but this has been a very slow process. Our reporter Lethiwe Mdluli is tracking this for us today and brings us the latest all the way from Durban. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, Lethiwe. What is the community on the ground saying about the roads that haven't been fixed?
Well, you remember that last year Durban was the most hard hit during the floods, and majority of the infrastructure that was affected by this was the road infrastructure. And today we've been moving around those places that were hard hit, including Ntuzuma, Inanda and Kwamakhuta. And earlier on we went to Ntuzuma just to speak to the communities about their issues and their frustrations, because there's been a slow pace in responding to some of the road infrastructure being fixed. And in speaking to the communities, they raised many issues. One of the community that we went to in Ntungwana, there was a woman who tried to drive through a bridge that was washed away. She didn't know that this was the case. This happened earlier this year around April. And unfortunately, she died because she fell into the hole that was caused by those floods. And there was uproar from the community around that time. And this brought to the attention of the government that they needed to fix this bridge immediately. So construction started, but now the community is having a problem with the fact that the bridge that is being constructed currently is the one that was there before, which was a small bridge, and they've been calling for a bigger bridge to withstand the amount of water that they get when there is flooding. So they've tried various times to stop the project, and the Department of Transport is not listening. This is what they are saying, and they don't know what currently is happening, and they are saying that they've been threatened by guns from the security company that has been hired by the local ward councillor to keep an eye on that project. So there's various issues. They are saying that during the floods last year, 6 people were washed away during that time, and they are fearing that because the rainy season is back, this is going to continue because of the bridge that they're currently installing. While talking to the community members a bit earlier on, this is what they had to say.
Manje into ebuhlungu leli bridge njengoba libulala abantu abangakatholakali futhi namanje kustili kusakhiwa lelo bridge eliphansi. Leli bridge leli eselifakwa ama-sewage lawa angathi awama toilet still isazosimukisa ngoba thina simukiswa amanzi aphuma phezulu simukiswa amanzi asuke sevaleke la ebridgeini ngoba ibridge lincane livele lakhelwe umfulo omncane. Manje into esikhalela lo akusekho ngisho indlela ukuthi ihambe ama transport, sesifuneka umuntu ajikeleze ukuze ahambe ezogibela. Mina nje njengoba ngihlala eduze komfula, uma ngabe inethi imvula kufuneka ngime ngeinyawo ngoba still kusenjalo. Into eshayisa ngovala ukuthi iyakhulunywa lento ukuthi hayibo sicela ibridge eliphakeme.
Thina somphakathi yazama ukuyikhuluma lento asizwakali. Ayizwa lonto le. Manje yabona nje iproject le kusho imali enhle kabi la. Kusho 30 million kwela manje bo into beyifaka amapipe, ama storage pipe. Ebridge nedumbe ezo6 engakatholali kuze kube manje. Asikho happy nje sister ngezidlale ngani kuze kube manje yabona ngoba benixosha la nishutha la yini lefihlwa la ngoba kumanje bayanixoshwa sukani nizoshutha kodwa nizoyenza umsebenzi wenu niyaxoshwa sukani yini lefihlwa engafani ibonakale ilokhuzana izwe umphakathi.
Lethiwe, the people are clearly not happy. Not only there is the failing infrastructure that is posing a risk to their lives, they're also being threatened. From what you know, are officials responding to the issues and the concerns that the residents are raising?
Well, we have spoken to the Department of Transport because they are in charge of the project. The eThekwini municipality is no longer in charge of it. And when they were responding, they were basically saying that they're trying to find a way to have a roadway that is going to be built quickly so that there can be mobility again in that area, because that bridge is very strategic. It links 3 townships in the northern part of Durban. So they're trying to find an alternative by building something that is going to be that's going to help the community quickly. And they are saying that they are looking into building a permanent structure which is bigger, a bridge that the community is calling for. But this is going to take some time because they need funding for this. So they have asked for the community to just give the contractor that has been appointed time to work on the bridge that was passed now, and to give them time in terms of building a permanent structure. We also spoke to the Ethekwini municipality because there's been an issue with the funding that was allocated by National Treasury to the Ethekwini municipality. Those funds were sent back by the municipality because they failed to spend that money in time. Majority of those funds were directed at fixing a lot of infrastructure that was damaged by the floods last year. And there was uproar from opposition parties and residents as well, because they are saying that there's a lot of infrastructure that still needs to be fixed, and they were questioning why the municipality was sending back money that was needed by the city. I spoke to the head of engineering, or the acting head of engineering in the municipality about this, because 1.2 billion of this funding was meant to go to road infrastructure or repairing the road infrastructure. He is saying that they have applied to National Treasury to have the funds brought back to the municipality, and this has been approved. They're saying that from now on they are going to start working on those projects. We've been told by the Department of Transport that there's over 700 projects that are currently ongoing in KwaZulu-Natal, so it's going to take some time for all those projects to conclude. But there is a time frame. The Ethekwini municipality is saying for the projects that they are doing, they are aiming to finish in March, and they are basically saying that they failed to spend this money because there's just not enough time and there's a lot of work to be done. But in speaking to Thanda Zulu a bit earlier on, this is what he had to say.
I think as the municipality, we were ready in terms of our plans around the framework or panel contracts, because we knew, although it was not very clear on when it will come, but we were told that it's coming. So we had then to be proactive in terms of that and put up panels which will then assist us in terms of a quick turnaround time. Indeed, the procurement process takes some time, and we have followed that to the T, because once also you don't follow that, it's a bit of a problem then, because you will be found on the wrong side by the Auditor General. We have tried by all means to follow that process. That's why many of the projects right now, a number of them are at the final stage of the procurement process, while others are on the ground already right now. So I think the issue of not being clear to say when is the money coming, I think that is the one that delayed us a bit. But having said that, we then became proactive as a city in terms of ensuring that we're putting together some panel frameworks. And the panel is a panel of contractors that you put together for any eventuality. So we've done that as a way of being proactive, so that once money comes in, we are quickly on the ground. And that's what we are trying to do right now. It's just that it's a lot of work to be done within a very short space of time. Remember, we were only given 12 months to implement that. So it was a very short period of time to do within a short space of time. But I think we are quite advanced, and for a number of projects, I'm sure we will be able to meet the deadline of the 30th of March 2024. On the other hand, there are some projects which already we've started engaging the national government to say the bridges can really be implemented within this period of time. We have then, in principle, really agreed that they will support us in terms of putting forward some recommendations in terms of trying to move that to at least towards June. And by June, we feel that that would be sufficient time to complete those projects.
Lethiwe just touched at the end there on one of my major concerns, which is that they had 12 months to complete this. They are saying that was not sufficient time. As it stands, there's 700 ongoing projects. There's a deadline of end of March next year. They're trying to move it to later in the year. What then has changed? Did our capacity increase, or did our skills increase for us to be able to finish these projects on time? And in the meantime, Lethiwe, people's lives are in danger.
Of course, and they are saying that it's going to take more than a year for them to actually finish all these projects. As you mentioned correctly, over 700 projects are currently underway in KwaZulu-Natal. But when I spoke to the Department of Transport, they did assure us that they are on the ground and majority of that work has already started, with some projects having also been finished. So we've been monitoring the Department of Transport, and they've been opening a few roads in and around Durban because it was the hardest hit area. But around KwaZulu-Natal, they are saying that some projects have been finished and they are aiming for March to finish all of them. And if they are unable to do this, they're going to ask for more time, and hopefully they are done by June. But I think a lot of communities are raising the issue that even though these projects are underway, unfortunately for them, they are still living in the same communities, and unfortunately if there is rain and if there is flooding again, they will be impacted once again. And this is why they are asking for better infrastructure. And this is the issue with the community in Tuzuma, who are saying that right now the bridge that is being built is a temporary structure, and they haven't been told as to exactly when a bigger bridge is going to be built, because for them, they believe that a bigger bridge is the answer to their problems. And they are also saying that if they need to be moved, they are willing to actually relocate, but no one has come to them in terms of government officials to talk to them about moving them because of the dangers that are posed by the river that they're living next to.
Lethiwe, thank you very much for not only bringing us the statement, but actually bringing us the facts from the ground.